Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Marsh Minutes, the marketing podcast. Very scuffed, especially when I'm talking to people like my guests, Tandem X Visuals, who you guys do professional video production. Nothing that's like this. So I'm joined by Wyatt and Josh from Tandem X. Thanks for being on, guys.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, it was great to get you on. It was I know tough to coordinate, especially since you guys were doing a lot of work, especially around like you guys are working with the Saskatchewan Roughriders now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's bleeding green is one thing, but having them as a client is another. And
Oh,
down goes the lights. There it is. Bloopers here for the video podcast.
hey, that's
Should
okay.
have had a better setup here. But yeah, it's been great. They were fantastic, and like to be able to shoot in a stadium full of Rough Rider fans, like can a shoot get any more energetic than that? So no, we're extremely grateful for the
And
clients
you
that we
guys have
have.
only done that locally, right? You haven't gone to any other places.
Yes,
No, not yet.
yeah,
Okay,
Yeah,
but
yet is the key word,
is that coming
Shay.
up then?
we're working on things. We don't want to put too many cards on the table, but at the end of the day, we're bold, we're audacious, and starting small is always a first step in business. But we got some aspirations to achieve.
Well, as far as aspirations go, actually, that's one thing we can talk about too. Like, how do you guys promote yourselves specifically to like find really good large scale projects that you guys know you're going to knock it out of the park? The second thing, and we'll kind of go into this when we talk a little bit more about like what actually goes into doing video production, finding budgets that work because there's so much work, and I don't think a lot of people realize how much work, resources, equipment, manpower, both like on site and then off site goes into something like this. So, what's your kind of process going from there, and how do you make it successful?
Yeah, maybe. Well, I'll jump in and kind of talk about how we find some kick-ass projects, and you can talk about how we knock them out of the park. Um, I think a lot of it comes down to kind of knowing what you want. Like we didn't start out to be a corporate video production company. Like we don't frame our company in that way. We objectify it and say that like, hey, we're a social media production agency. We want to help people develop high quality visuals for social media, and social media in that space is a little bit more fun than corporate video kind of talking head stuff. So I think right out of the get go, like we already have positioned our business to be the fun, cool, quirky video production company. But within that too, like knowing what clients are right for you, like knowing who you should be talking to, knowing you should be dedicating and kind of allocating your time and resources. And I'm stealing this from someone, Tim Reed, CEO of Regina Exhibition Association, incredible guy, probably the nicest man you'll ever meet. Besides Santa, like he has a tough running for Santa, but his mantra is he will only do business with people that he can eat chicken wings and drink beer with. That's it.
Chicken
That's
wings
that's
and beer.
that's how chicken wings and beer. He draws that line, and I've started to kind of develop that mantra and add it into our business to go. I had a sales meeting yesterday, and I said, I want to eat and drink chicken wings and beer with you for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Are you in on that? Like, that's how I know that you're the right fit. The client looked at me and said, I love wings. I love beer. When do we start? Boom. That we know it. We know that's the right client for us. So a lot of it, just landing killer projects comes down to knowing the clients, knowing their expectations, and just telling people what you want. I want to eat chicken wings. I want to drink beer with you and do cool projects. People usually can
Let
figure
me
out
let
what the
me in
rest
on
happens.
or let me let you in on a little bit of secret sauce that I work with. That's very similar. It's
Cool.
funny that you bring that up. Hot dogs from a hot dog cart downtown at the park.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of people that keep going to like steakhouses and brew
Yep.
pubs to have a beer and like, chicken wings is kind of fun, right? But like, how cool is it to go out into the outdoors? So same kind of thing, right? Like you want someone that
Yep.
you can communicate with and hang out. Yeah, like I like that. That makes a lot of sense. Why didn't you
Yep.
invite me for chicken wings yet?
We have yet to have our sales meeting. This is just an onboarding discovery session, Jay.
Okay, I
So
gotcha.
we're going to profile your business, get to know it. And
Okay.
hey, at the end of the day, we might even say, I don't know if we're eating chicken wings and beer. And I think that's the most important part about this formula. You got to know who you're going to eat chicken wings and beer with. And if that person's not it, you got to call it how it is. You just got to say, hey, I don't think we're eating chicken wings and drinking beer together. And
That's fair.
it's hurtful, but it's fair. But Shay, we're eating chicken wings. We're drinking beer. I can
Well,
tell you that.
speaking of chicken wings and beer, last time I saw you guys in person was after the Movember Hot Ones event in Regina. Um, How'd you guys do on that one? For anyone who doesn't know, we mimicked a lot of the Hot Ones episodes on the YouTube channel where you eat increasingly hotter sauces until you either tap out or get pretty close to death. How'd you guys do on
So
that?
are you asking how we did it on the wings, or how did we do with growing the mustache and raising the funds for
Let's
November?
start with the wings because that's relevant there. Like we got up to
Well,
what was it, the last dab Apollo, and that was 2.5 to 3 million Scovilles.
so
Yeah.
to give you context, we can't we spicy things don't exist for us anymore unless it's up to that point.
Okay,
It's
so you guys
we
were
can eat
totally good with
spice
that.
and we're like, this is candy.
Yeah,
Well,
and
now
and
we
you like
are. We had
you
to
did
get
the
conditioned.
you did the extra dab, right?
We did the extra dab. We did the Steve O's Destroyer was probably the worst one out of the entire lineup.
You
We
you cut
all
out there, but
suffered
I
a
want
lot
you to
from that one.
repeat the name of that sauce because the connection got a little fuzzy there.
Steve O's Butthole Destroyer destroyed us.
That one was pretty rough.
I didn't
That
get it.
one,
Like it was
oh
just
my
so
gosh.
hot.
Yeah. So
Oh,
so actually that one it wasn't super hot for me, like as compared to
really?
the other ones.
What?
But
How
what had
much did you
happened
eat?
was I had a little chili pepper seed, like after I'd eaten everything, and I'm like, oh, I'll just eat the seed, and I would grab it, bite into it, and then immediately it was like, oh no, that's a bad idea. So that's when it got hot for me, but otherwise it wasn't. So maybe you guys were chomping on seeds out of there.
I
I
literally had like two nibbles and I was like coughing and like
yeah.
But you guys had fun with it.
pure adrenaline.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so
It
much fun.
fun. It was a humbling experience. Let's put it that. I don't know. Fun halfway through when I consumed like more water than I possibly can handle in my body, just trying to extinguish this hellfire that I had eaten and put into my mouth. Like my favorite quote from the night was when Marshall says, "I had to question mortality, but the only reason I knew that I was still alive is because I still felt what was going on in my mouth." And like, hey, we raised some funds, but we put our bodies on the line for that
And it
fundraiser.
wasn't just at the event, actually. So your whole team, did you guys all work together to raise money for Movember, like every single one?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
killer. So how'd you get the on board for everyone to do that? Like, did you say like, okay, this is a write up, this is conditional on your employments, or was everyone just kind of on board with it?
No. We started
Yep.
it and we just have such a great team that everyone's down to help the community and support and just make change and just do good things that they all jumped on board, no questions asked. Yes, we're doing this, let's do it again. We did it
And
last year too and it was so much fun.
Marshall kind of took the lead last year, and we sunk our teeth into November. Josh, I couldn't really grow a mustache last November, but this year my mustache showed up. Marshall led the team. He's the one that was been all behind all of our video stuff. He's behind basically all the ideation and kind of developing out our campaign behind November. And we set a goal of 2,500 at the beginning of the month. And we are like, well, like, are we going to hit that? Like, that's pretty bold. We had $1,000 the year before, but we raised, I think, $550. So hey, we raised some good funds.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Well, and then you said your mustache isn't much, but you won Man of the Year, Mustache of the Year at the Hot Ones event.
Absolutely. Like, oof. I called my mom. I sent her photos. I called my family. I was like, look at me now. You all like, this is unraised to new heights.
You had the sash, but they didn't give you like a little bouquet of flowers or I don't know, like beer caps or something.
It was it was a sash. I got a sash, and then I got like a gift basket full of November stuff. And so after this event, there was gingerbread cookies in there, and I was like, oh God, thank you. Something that's not spicy. There's the sash. So I had these gingerbread cookies, and I flipped them over, and I'm thankful that I flipped them over. They were ghost pepper gingerbread. Oh, after a night of eating 2.5 million Scoville wings, I was so desperate for the spiciest of cookies, gingerbread, and then they were spicier gingerbread cookies. Oh, they're spicy.
I didn't tell my wife, or rather, like she was like, "Oh, cookies, awesome," and I saw the packet and I just like lied by omission. And so that was a fun surprise after she took a bite, but she wasn't happy with me after that. Those are good cookies.
Oh, but till death do you part, I think is what they say, right? And if she survived the cookie, live another day.
Not dead yet.
Well, Shay, also, you should mention that you also won something at the event too.
Oh, yeah, that was weird. I went outside to drop off some stuff in my jacket into my truck. And then I come inside and, oh, there's Shay. You won the trivia. And I had no idea, right? I didn't even cheat. But there was like, yeah, there were trivia questions. And I even went up after and I said, okay, well, like, what did I get right? How many did I get right? And it wasn't a lot at all. But they were going through the cards. And the funniest thing is we did questions each round. And as you went through and progressed the round, people just stopped writing stuff. Like they were dying too much. They didn't even think trivia was still happening. Um, and I guess I was still going enough to be able to win. So yeah, I got some really cool stuff out of there too.
Yeah, as soon as the Steve-O's Butthole Destroyer came around, it was like trivia's gone, ears ringing, adrenaline's kicking
It hit you
in. I'm
guys
just
that
like, hey,
hard, hey?
Oh, we yeah, it hurts. It hurts. Yeah.
But fun is the most part. Like if you can laugh with each other. And
oh my
was
gosh,
it your
I
whole
was
crew?
laughing the
Like
whole
how many
time.
of your crew showed up? Your team at Tandem X?
I think basically everyone. Like it was Dre couldn't
Six of
come
us.
because last minute he had a class pop up. All of a sudden he forgot about a university class that night. So that seems rather suspicious. But almost our whole team showed up, and I am extremely proud to say that we all did it. We finished it. Like there was a couple times I was going to call it 8. After 8, I was like, I can't. This is like, why are we doing this? But I have 2 more wings left. The rest of the team was kind of like, we're going to do this, and it inspired me to dig in a little deeper. And but we all finished it, and that's like, to give you perspective, 2.5 million Scovilles, how hot that is. A jalapeno pepper is 8,000. 8,000 Scovilles. This is 2.5 million. I don't know many people that would eat a jalapeno, let alone 2.5 million Scovilles. So I'm extremely proud that we all just proud. I don't know what emotion I feel actually about that.
What about you, Wyatt? How did that night kind of stack up for you?
Oh, it was great. I thought it was a great time. Especially Marshall. His eyes just lit up because one, he loves Movember. He loves a mustache. Literally all year 2021, he was just growing a mustache. That's it. Just because he loves it so much, and he loves wings and spice. So that guy was in heaven, and it was so fun seeing him just light up during the event. And then also Shade. Do you remember when the announcers were saying there's somebody in the crowd that is eating bare wings without any hot sauce?
Yep.
Remember that? Yeah, one of them was at our table. they,
Oh, it's
they
okay.
requested no sauce.
I didn't know if they were lying about that. Like I was thinking to John Carpenter's The Thing, where it's like, one of you is the imposter. Who is it? And we're all like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
side eyeing everyone. So, okay, I'm not going to have you call them out because I know there's a lot of
Nope.
people with pitchforks kind of ready to be like,
Yeah.
you have to
Yeah,
suffer
it's a
with us. But
very
But
dangerous
we
thing.
should call out the other person in the room that didn't have plain wings was a 12-year-old girl, and we're gonna leave it at that. We're not gonna name any other names besides the other person that ate plain wings that night was a 12-year-old girl.
I think that's okay. And there has to be like an age limit at that point too,
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
yeah.
But there is a success story is because the person at our table who requested the bare wings without any sauce ended up, scrapping that idea. He's like, I need to jump in on this. This is way too much fun. I need to get
Yes.
involved. What was I thinking? Not somebody who does not like spice did it. And yes, the Steve-O's Butthole Destroyer absolutely annihilated him. And
That wasn't their
we
first one,
had
was
it.
it?
No,
Not the
no,
first
Okay.
no,
one.
no.
Okay. Yeah, that would have been a
They
rough
started at
start.
2. They
Okay.
started at 2, so they missed one. That's a fair thing to miss. Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. I'm proud they can go in there. And like what I'm hearing about this whole thing is like you guys have an awesome cohesive company with lots of people. Like how many people are working at Tandem X right now?
So there's 8 of us, 8 incredible Tandem X sites. We don't have a name for ourselves actually, but Tandem Xers, maybe. I
Yep.
don't know if we'll stick with that.
Tandems.
Tandemers. I don't know. There's 8 of us.
And there's like a tight cohesive community among you guys that I'm happy to see. I'm always happy to see companies, especially I think it's prevalent more in young companies where they understand exactly like what it takes to harbor a successful community and like getting buy-in from people without like I saw someone posted something about like the keys to success, and then at the very bottom it says nowhere did we say pizza party.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't just bribe
That's
people
funny.
with a pizza party and say, okay, everything's
Yeah.
all good, right? You're happy?
Yeah.
You're good?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry about
And
those
I think
30 hours overtime last week.
and then I think culture is beyond pizza parties and Christmas, but like culture is how you look and treat each other every day. And I think companies mix that up a whole bunch. Like you can't buy culture. You can cultivate culture. You can't buy it. You can add things in to stir culture and create connections, but it all comes down to trust. Like you can't have culture without trust in each other. And I think that that's what we have at Tandem is we have an undevoted trust that like each person plays a part in the company, each person puts the best foot forward, and we know that like, hey, they're going to work their ass off today, I'm going to work my ass off today. And I think that that has helped us develop that like buy-in culture, because no one doesn't want to be part of something super sick, cool, awesome. I'm not saying Tandem is this incredible here it is company, but everyone that's here wants to be here because they're part of this whole journey, this whole process. And I think that's where companies go wrong. You buy a pizza party, you think, wow, look at these guys talking to each other. And it's like, no. Are they talking outside of pizza parties? And if it's a no, you might need to visit the culture doctor.
They're still grimacing. They might be
Yeah,
chowing down on some
Exactly.
pizza that's cold by now, but
Yeah.
Well, and just to add on to that too, that culture happens regardless. Like no matter what, a culture will be established, whether it's good or bad. So it's up to you as the leader of the business, as the organization, to make sure you're cultivating that culture into something that is a positive for everybody, and that helps the business grow, helps the organization grow, and create the culture that you ultimately want, that everybody else wants to thrive and to work harder and to grow the business. So as leaders, that's something to really pay attention to and make sure that things are healthy and going in the right direction.
well, as far as leadership goes, there are three big guys at the company. Uh, so Josh, Wyatt, and your brother is actually
Yeah,
working with you guys
Zach.
too.
Yeah.
Did you guys like kind of fight, like sibling fighting?
No, we got over that a long time ago.
Okay.
That that's something we went through a long time ago. But now in the professional world, we share the same interests. We've got a lot of common interests, common values, lots of things that we agree on. And Josh also is very similar. Lots of these things we also agree on. Yes, you have your differences, but those things you work out, you figure out, you find the best path forward. But no, there's no sibling scraps anymore. Nothing like that. No dog piles. No pinning them down on the ground.
Not even
Yeah.
No
like
calling
prank
for mom.
wars.
Not
No
really,
pranks. No, nothing like
and I don't have to be a referee either, which is nice. Being between two brothers as partners, I thought, okay, I might have to jump in a few times, but no, But I think that comes back to the trust. Like we, as partners, we have an immense amount of trust with each other. Like I know that Wyatt shows up every day to put his work in. He knows that I show up every day. Like we don't have to worry about like, are we all bought in? Of course. And so
Yeah.
I think we trust each other. We trust the process too. Like starting a business with people, like just anyone, not brothers, leave family, everything. That's a big deal. So you have to trust that like this process that we're going through together, this journey, the learnings, the challenges, the ups, the downs, you have to trust that like the people you have, that's the people you need. And I think that that's what cultivates some good leadership is just, I know that Wyatt, Zach, myself, we have an incredible amount of trust with each other. And I think we also trust each other to accomplish what we set out for goals and what we put our minds to. Like, it's not like, oh, I one day bring up this crazy goal and Wyatt and Zach go, nah, we can't do that. Like, we all have trust that like when each of us has something to say in our domain, it's like, okay, cool, that's it. I trust that he's got the right answer. He's put his work in. He knows what he's talking about. And I think like business really boils down to trust. Like, trust people, they're going to trust you back.
It sounds like it's not just trust, like you're kind of using that word, and like I think that's like your primary focus, and it shows. It shows with the work you guys are doing, and the cohesiveness of a whole crew that's going to come out. But I see a lot of pride in that as well. Like there's an innate pride that comes with what's there. That you're all working together to make something proud, and you're doing your best to make sure that the end product is something you'd be proud of. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's like great to see.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Uh,
It's being prideful. It's weird because Regina, like Saskatchewan, people here aren't boastful. And it's I think there's a difference between being full of pride and being egotistical. And like, you don't have to brag about your work. You can show it off and be proud of it. And I think I appreciate the compliment, because we work on cool projects, and like the amount of times I call my mom, send her videos being like, Mom, look at how cool this video is. Like, and then of course she's like, biggest cheerleader, number one fan.
She's always gonna be proud of you regardless.
Of course, but like, you got to be proud of what you do. Otherwise, why are you trying to do it? So yeah, I appreciate the compliments, Jay.
In terms of pride, and this is going to be kind of a question for you, Wyatt, because you're doing more of the creative stuff in terms of going out, doing the shooting, organizing the projects, and both on the front and back end. It's not hard. Like, you're just pointing a camera, right? Like, that's all you're doing.
Exactly.
Pointing a camera, sticking it into like iMovie.
Yeah. Show up with an iPhone, 10 minutes later, you just shoot nonstop, take it back, put it into the automatic system that we use. Perfect video.
Okay, so there are a couple people that are going to be listening to this going like, I knew it, but that's not actually the case.
That's a joke.
Can you talk a little more about like what exactly goes in? I know there's a lot of people who are like, well, they're just showing up and shooting video. They don't realize the software, the equipment, the manpower.
Yeah, that seems to be a common trait with a lot of the new people that are into the industry. They're just getting into the video now. They just realize their brand actually needs video now, and they're just getting into that world. That's what they kind of think, that you show up with a simple camera, like, oh, how hard could it be? Like, my nephew's got a camera, he can do some things sometimes. Like, it's cool, and they their expectations of videos is also not very high, so they don't expect to see lots, and they don't expect a big production to show up, but what actually goes into it is far more than what they expect. So depending on the scope of the project, obviously, but there's a lot of hours that go into pre-production, especially just to make sure that things line up. Making sure that we chat with the client beforehand, just to see like, hey, what is the point of this video? Number one, like, what on earth are we trying to accomplish? What's the goal? What are we trying to get your viewers to do? Talking with the client to work through these steps and the process, just to help get us in the same mindset as them, to make sure that we have a successful video on our hands. So then, and then once we figure that out, we can take it back to our end and go, okay, cool. We know the process, or we know the point of the video. Now, what's the process to actually get the video to in a very interesting, curious way, to make sure we reach that outcome and make sure that the viewers actually follow through the video to get to that outcome, and either visit their website, click more, just awareness, whatever it is that we're trying to do. How do we structure the video to get to that point? And that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of planning. We have brainstorm sessions. We have to break down. We have frameworks that we follow. We've got systems in place that we follow, just to make sure that these videos are a success, and that these clients are happy, and they actually get something out of it. Because the last thing we want is just to show up with a camera, shoot, edit something, pass it off to them, and say, have a good day. We want to make sure that they have a product, an asset in their hands that they can use to help sell their product, sell their service, or even and help the people that they're designed to help and that they're supposed to help make this world a bigger and better place. So a lot goes into it. We got a lot of software too that we use, and the gear, maintaining the gear, keeping the gear updated, everything that goes into it, hours and hours. But yeah, it all comes down to the scope of the project and the outcomes of the project, and then we go from there.
When we talk about gear, though, you're talking about like cameras, $500 for a couple of cameras each, right?
Sometimes those can get by depending on what you're trying to do, but with us, not quite the $500 range.
So what's the standard you guys are using right now?
So the cameras that we use, Sony A7S2s, those are the current ones we use. Yes, there's a newer version out right now, the Sony A7S3s. Things change so quickly in the technology side of things when it comes to cameras. There's many different brands, so many different versions, so many different types, and little, you got the A7S2s, but what about the A7 III? Like, what's the difference between those two, and why do you need them? So many options out there that really, whichever one that you pick and whichever color you pick, whichever brand name you pick, is likely going to do the job. But yeah, the ones that we stick with, the A7S2s, we have 3 of them, and then we also have a Canon 1DX Mark II that we use for our photography. That thing's a beast when it comes to in studio photos. Absolutely love it, and we use it all the time.
So you talked about how much work goes before the project and the pre
Yeah.
planning stages. Josh, does that mean that out of the 8 people you have working, almost every project goes through every person in your office at some stage?
Yeah, like I think collaboration is a huge thing for creativity. One person does not have every answer, and each project usually kicks off with me. I'll talk to the client, objectify what are they trying to accomplish, and then I hand that off to the extremely talented producers that we have. So being Wyatt or Joel, so they'll kind of scope out the whole project. What shots do we need? What's the shot list? What's the script? Like, is there a different mood? What's the feeling? What's key message? Like, there's a lot that goes into it, and then once they are able to kind of scope it all out, that gets handed over to Kelsey, our project manager, who then kind of allocates resources and making sure, like, we kind of refer to her as the air traffic controller. You want to make sure that two airplanes aren't colliding into each other, and she does that really well. Where she makes sure that like we have every detail, and she'll call it out. Whoa, you're missing something here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. We missed something. So she's the coordinator of kind of everything we do, and then that gets handed off. Once that's done, hey, you got to shoot something. So that goes to a videographer who will then shoot something and then pass over to either that videographer will edit that project or hand it off to a video editor. So there are times that like every single person will touch a project. And I think that's the way it should be. I don't think you should silo people. I don't think that you should have this idea that, oh, Wyatt's got the answer. Like Wyatt might go to Joel and say, you've done a couple other projects. What are your thoughts on this?
Why are you picking on Wyatt right now?
Oh, no, I'm not picking on Wyatt. No.
I do that though. To be fair, I do that.
No.
Yeah. Wyatt's a great guy.
You should always ask questions. You should always be able to like work together with that. No, I get what you're saying.
In my grade 12 history class, I did get. I was told I'm not allowed to ask any more questions. So
you were that kid.
That stuck with me. I was that kid.
Yeah, no, that's great. Especially, like having a good mindset on project management and making sure that you cover as many bases as possible. Like obviously things are going to go wrong and you have to play audibles and make sure that everything's covered and, you have something to at least go back to and go, okay, well, here's the process. What can we do to get out of this hole? So yeah,
exactly.
I did want to go back to something like we're all over the place here, but this is a good conversation. I'm loving this. Social content is what you guys really talked about, what you want to do and be good at and help clients with. Wyatt, what is social content? Like what makes good social content from, what you guys do, video, photo work?
Have you ever seen a video on social media that you've like watched and you were like, haha, I love it. And then you hit share and shared it with your mom or your friend?
It's that simple.
Okay.
Have
you seen a video like that?
Yeah. Have
you watched the video?
Yep.
There's social content.
It's that simple. That's it. Hey?
You shared it. Well, a lot goes into it, but yes, that's social content. Have you ever seen a video on social media? You're like, you just skipped?
There's a few. Yeah.
That's not social content.
Okay.
That's not social content. So
and there's a framework.
To me, what social content is, good social content is when it comes to on this video side of things, is videos that make you stop. I'm interested, watch it, at least some of it, and then tag a friend, share with a friend, pass that along, engage with it. That to me is good social content, or is content that's working anyways. And yes, there's a whole lot of steps that go into making sure that you have a good piece of content. It's more than just showing up with a camera and being like, here's a video of me and I'm just going to tell you how things work today. And that's that. And, this is a sale update that we have. Like, that's not really social content that's going to perform well and, get some significant reach.
Yeah.
There's a whole framework in it that we use. We always make sure, it's the shareability framework. So it's like, how shareable can we make this content? And there's so many steps into it. Making sure that the intro, you have a very engaging intro, making sure that this sparks emotions with the viewers when you're creating this content. So one of the main ones is curiosity. How can you spark curiosity in a video? The emotions at play. So making sure that you trigger these emotions with your audience. And curiosity is one of the main ones, because it makes you curious to actually watch that for a second but then also you're curious to watch the next until you've watched, a whole minute long video, but you were curious the whole time, you're engaged, made you think, and then whatever the outcome at the end of the video is, did you learn something? Did it make you laugh? Are you happy? Are you emotional? Are you empathetic? And then that's the reason that you want to share that video onto your friends. But hey, you're going to enjoy this as well. One thing, I've made a video on TikTok last year, sometime or earlier in 2021, sometime, that I actually it had a lot of negative feedback because there was a misunderstanding with what I said. But I said sharing is selfish, and the reason you sharing is selfish is because you share because of how you want to feel about yourself. Shay, I want to send you this because I want you to feel good. I'm only doing it because I want to know because I feel good that you're now laughing at this video and you found funny. Mm-hmm. Sharing is selfish. It's how you feel about making somebody else's day, or now they know how the content that I'm paying attention to and the content that I like. So now that I know Shay, Shay knows that I like funny videos that I can send to him, and that makes me feel good.
And then I'm thinking about you.
There's a whole system behind this. And then you're thinking about me, and it just makes me feel good.
What I'm hearing about
sharing is selfish.
Yeah, well, what I'm hearing about this is obviously you guys probably spend a lot of time on social, getting a feel for what's happening, what's exciting, and then also doing research into like how that makes you feel, how it makes others feel, where it's getting traction on engagement. Like, you're not just thinking about shooting video, you're thinking about everything else that goes behind.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's cool.
This is a lot to it. Visuals are one part, but the emotions are a next, very close, maybe even first part of the video, that as far as importance goes. There's a lot of parts to it.
Okay, so you're just crazy in terms of like what you're actually talking about right now. I want to, just have you talk more about that, but we're kind of approaching the end here. We still have a little bit more time, but I want to talk about like the cool projects you guys have been excited about and what you're working on now. And so, go brag. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, it's brag time. It's pride time. You mean?
Yes.
It's pride time. I'm gonna kick it off. I did brainstorm 2 projects, and I have a small little story attached to each. The first one, so the pandemic happened. I don't know if anyone knows that. It happened. So, we started our business November 2019. So we were just like, young, naive business owners just trying to make it in this world. And then March 16th happened, and ay caramba.
Yikes.
That was a rough day. That was a weird day to go, well, I don't know why the NHL shut down, but I guess we're shutting down our business for a bit. Like, this is weird. And we all kind of went through the ramifications of stay at home, lockdown, and it was a big question mark. Like, are we going to go back and get our corporate jobs back? Are we going back to like whatever we did before this? Like, was being an entrepreneur the worst decision we could have ever made? And all these thoughts went through our head. We had morning meetings every morning, being like, what in the heck is going on? But, we saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and there's one project that we got called out for, right? Like, I think it was like just like late June, early July. So right coming out of the pandemic, and, or at least the kind of lockdown stage of it. And it was a Brett Kissel drive-in concert. And it was 3 concerts in one day, drive-in fashion. But it was the first big project we took on since literally looking at our business and going, that's it. We'll never, we probably have to shut down. There's no way we're going to get through this. The world doesn't even know what's going on. How do we know what's going on? So Brett Kissel, we did that for the Regina Exhibition Association. And after seeing that project, after seeing the finished edits and it be sent over to the clients, there's never been a higher level of emotion that I've had in my body, because it was like, we're going to do this. Like, trust the process. This is not just a video. This is a mark to say that we are resilient enough to survive a pandemic, get the shit kicked out of us, get back up, and still keep trying. So Brett Kissel, cool video. You can go check it out on our Instagram. I think it's on our Vimeo as well. And then the second project is State of the City. So we just finished 2 videos for Sandra Masters' mayoral State of the City presentation. And what greater honor than to represent, promote, and boast and be prideful about your city through video. And she graciously gave us that opportunity. And Thank you, Mayor Masters. What an incredible experience for us to be able to look into the city and go, what don't people know? And how do we brag about it? How do we showcase what Regina truly is, the passion, the aspirational identity that we all have to just be the best? We're not braggers, we're just doers. So it was such a cool thing. And then we did 2 videos, one to kick off her presentation, and then she mic dropped with our last video. She said, roll video, and then walked off stage. And I was sitting there going, the mayor mic dropped our video on the stage of her own address. Mom, holy guacamole. So, you know, it was an extreme honor. Like, we are able to be in front of 550 of the most prestigious business people in Regina at the mayoral's address. And she wanted us to be there to represent the city. I don't think there's a greater honor than that. So 2 favorite projects that we worked on in the past that I think we killed it. Those 2 hand in hand.
I love it. Wyatt, what about you, man? You got anything that stands out?
Yeah. So speaking about Sandra Masters, we were able to help. We shot a rap music video with her this fall.
Right.
If we go back to March 2020 during the pandemic, and if you would have said in about a year and a half you're gonna be shooting a rap video with the new mayor of Regina, I'd have been like, what? What are you talking about? But yeah, so we ended up shooting at the end of the summer a rap music video with Sandra Masters. She lip synced the song
It Takes Two.
And we were all over the city. We got the RCMP involved. We got some awesome shots with that. We had nurses involved at pop-up vaccine clinics. Where else did we go, Josh? We were all
Regina City Police, the Regina Fire Department. We got like a dance troupe to show up with the Saskatchewan Rough Riders cheerleader squad. We had Gaynor kick off the video. Like
Gaynor.
we kind of made this weird call, and we were like, Mayor, can you get everyone? And we just gave her this list, and she's like, okay.
And they got Gaynor. She got Gaynor.
And they got Gaynor. They got what? They got a gopher. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was definitely a highlight. That one for sure.
Well, and then this just illustrates my point about the pride, and I think you guys have a lot of cool stuff that you've worked on and should be very proud of. So you guys are going to send me those links specifically, and I'm going to include those in the description because like a lot of people have to see it, especially the mayor one. I hadn't seen that one for a while. Now I'm thinking about it now. Like, so you got to watch that. It was probably the right time to drop something like silly but also earnest as that was. So killer job.
Thank you.
So other than that, do you guys want to promote what you're doing, where people can find what you're working on, how to get in touch with you? You have the floor. Go ahead, guys.
Cool. Well, if you want to eat chicken wings and drink beer with us, you can reach us out find us at tandemxvisuals.com. Tandem X Visuals kind of everywhere. If there's a platform, we've probably got the tag Tandem X Visuals. We kind of help businesses understand social media, how to kind of achieve visual excellence on social media. And as Wyatt kind of alluded to, you're not just hiring us to show up and with a couple cameras and a couple of good ideas. Like, there's an absolute incredible amount of intention behind each project we do, from photography to video production to social media management to social media ad distribution. Like, if it's on social, we probably can accomplish it and get a few views. And Wyatt never referenced a couple of the viral videos we've done. We don't want to spill it for the audience. We want you guys to search and find these viral videos, but I know 3 of them amount over 15 million views. Maybe rural Uber might be one. I don't know. I'll leave that out of here. But why? I don't know. Is there anything else I'm missing?
Jimmy Fallon hint. Jimmy Fallon.
Hint. Yeah.
I may or may not have one of the stars on that video a couple episodes ago. So worth checking out. That's a little hint for people to take a look for stuff like that. That's amazing. Thank you guys for being on. This is awesome.
Yeah. One more little blurb. If you go to our website, we do have a free PDF that people can download just for video ideas. It's there. And we have a 12 video piece little social media trainer that people can follow and go through. So if you sign up and get that free PDF, you'll have 12 video emails sent to you. training you on some social media. So go to our website and you can get that.
Links below, links on Spotify, all the information that's there. Reach out to these guys. They'll help you out. Like even if you just want to have chicken wings beer, talk to Wyatt. He'll nerd out about everything that goes into good, engaging social content. Thanks, guys. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that.
Great.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Take care, guys.
See ya.